So what you're looking at now is the Bell Hotel in Epping. They are housing hundreds of migrants who have come to this country illegally, and they're being housed there at our taxpayers' expense.
Our Conservative government is actively aiding and abetting the invasion of Britain. Despite all the supposedly promising talk over the past year from the likes of Boris Johnson and Priti Patel, there has been no action whatsoever by this government to stem the flow of illegal migrants crossing the Channel. Hand in hand with a total lack of effort to reduce the ever-rising tide of legal migration, the jigsaw pieces have come together to spell out what many of us knew all along. It does not matter which mainstream party is voted into office, the agenda remains the same. The British people have no voice and no representation in any faction of the ruling establishment, which remains totally committed to our displacement and destitution. As this invasion shows, the selflessness that so many of us pride ourselves upon has been turned into a weapon which has been used against us. Only very recently has this government so much as hinted at acknowledging the problem, but their refusal to act speaks infinitely louder than any number of deceitful speeches and false pledges they could ever hope to devise. For too long, the British people have been indoctrinated to accept this with appeals to our kindness and compassionate sensibilities. We've been told that it is our moral duty to budge up and make space for the rest of the world to come and settle here because of the less desirable conditions that these migrants left behind. Despite the coronavirus pandemic and the imposition of travel restrictions across the whole world, new migrants continue to find their ways onto British shores. And as per the Conservatives' plans, they will undercut wages for British workers. The reason they are being imported into our country in such large numbers is not, and has never been, for our benefit, but precisely the opposite. We are now told that it is racist to celebrate our own heritage and that our businesses must have diversity quotas so that workers from ethnic minority backgrounds can be prioritised for employment over the ethnically British. Despite the privileges that they enjoy, many of them continue to despise the native population, and some even go on to commit terrorist atrocities and other acts of barbaric violence against us. But the government continues to let such high-risk people into the country time and time again. To them, terrorism is a price worth paying so that eventually our country's identity can be erased in totality. They use evil means to achieve evil ends. By allowing such an unprecedented flood of immigrants into our homeland who do not share our history, culture, heritage or values, what has been created is a country where the native people are on track to becoming an ethnic minority themselves just 40 years from now.
Our folk, ancient and proud, now with expiry date. And with any love expressed comes an accusation of hate. Despite the headlines and grim forecast, we were never asked.